Next, I'm going to show you how to use the peer group button. So I've already selected this 1060 Capital Fund. I can easily click on the magnifying glass here and select any of the funds in my database. So I'll stick with the 1060 Capital Fund for now. And what I'm seeing here is I'm seeing the performance of the fund, highlighted here in green, versus the rest of the peer group. The top 5 to 25% of the peer group, the next 25 to 50% of the peer group, the bottom 50 to 75% of the peer group, and the very bottom 75 to 95% of the peer group. So the strategy we're mapped to at the moment is this HFRI multi-strategy index of 52 funds. And this is automatically mapped for us by the database provider, in this case, HFR. The same will be true of other third-party database providers, such as Morningstar and Eurekahedge. But you will also notice, if you click on peer group in the top left corner, we can open up any of our own custom-built peer groups as well. I'm going to stick with the pre-selected peer group for now. And whilst it's interesting to see the performance of this fund over time, this 1060 Capital Fund, I perhaps am more interested in knowing what the other top performing funds in this peer group are. And that's where this top percentile assets search on the right of my screen comes in. So this is finding assets which spend at least 75% of the time in the top 50% of the peer group. If I just tick the box, they get added to the chart. And wow, look at that. This fund really outperforming its peers. Once I've found the funds that are of most interest to me, I might wish to untick the others. I can right click, copy this as a picture, or copy the data behind it, and paste that into Excel or a Word document. Really easy for me to pull this data out of the software. I can even use the reporting tool here in the bottom right hand corner and use this Excel API report. Some of the other tools available here in the peer group button include the ability to break down this data monthly, quarterly, however I want to break it down. I can also view this as a table, like so. I can take a look at a risk graph, see how these funds perform compared to each other and the rest of the peer group by AUM, returns, volatility, however I want to break it down. So we can also take a look at how correlated these assets are to each other. Let's go correlation matrix. So now we get a heat map of how correlated these assets are to each other. If I right click, I can sort assets. And now these assets are sorted from most correlated in the top left corner to least correlated in the bottom right corner. Another really useful tool here is the Rolling Statistics tab. So here I can view this 1060 Capital Fund on a rolling window basis across any of the stats built into our software. And I can also right click and select series. So now I can add any of the other assets in that peer group to this chart. So let's add this 1492 small cap fund by comparison, and there it is. And you'll notice I can add multiple assets to this chart, like so.